heirloom teeth. The first time I realized I might be broken, the accusation flew from my mother's lips like a bullet. "You're a disgrace to this family." The words ricocheted off the walls of our kitchen, filled with the stale scent of burnt toast, a familiar, suffocating reminder of my childhood. My father's silence loomed like a storm cloud overhead, his gaze cast downward, avoiding any confrontation. I had just been fired, stripped of my dignity, my dreams. A dental hygienist who dared to report bizarre bite marks on cadavers at a care facility was not someone my family could stomach. They called my obsession with forensic odontomancy a delusion, a ridiculous fantasy. Yet beneath their laughter, something darker festered inside me, a hunger for truth that gnawed at my sanity. Years passed in isolation, my family's scorn a constant echo in the caverns of my soul. I grew obsessed, diving deeper into the realm of the dead. With each case I studied, I unraveled the delicate tapestry connecting teeth, secrets, and the very essence of life itself. I gathered bits of wisdom from the whispering bones, learning to read the messages hidden in the enamel, messages that spoke of betrayal and heartbreak. And though the world continued to shun my work, I became more than just an expert. I became a conduit for the voices of the damned. Returning home after all those years felt wrong, like stepping into the midst of a storm I had avoided for so long. My family had sold the old house, the one I had dreamed of burning to the ground. They now occupied a sleek new home on the outskirts of town, an architectural marvel that felt cold and lifeless. As I approached the front door, my heart raced with a trepidation I couldn't shake. They had spent years insisting I was mad, but now I was a beacon of chilling truths. I had clawed my way through the dark, and now I carried shadows with me. The moment my mother opened the door, her expression shifted from astonishment to horror. My presence, no longer the timid child they once knew, was an apparition draped in an unsettling aura. "You look different," she muttered, scanning my features as if searching for the person they had lost. I stepped into their pristine living room, each detail painfully polished, yet I felt nothing but grime beneath the surface. "I've come to talk," I began, my voice steady. But the weight of years pressed heavy on my chest. "About the things I've uncovered. You can be home, but only if you leave this nonsense behind," my father finally spoke, his tone laced with the venom of disbelief. The tension in the room thickened, and I could almost taste their fear of what I had become and what I might reveal. A single moment, like a flick of a switch, encapsulated all the years of anguish. I reached inside my bag, producing a small glass vial, filled with a murky fluid and the glint of something metallic swirling beneath. "This," I said, holding it up, "is a blend of odontomantic essences, teeth of the lost, whispers of the dead. I bring truth, and it is time you faced it." My mother recoiled, her hand flying to her mouth. "You're insane!" she gasped, but already the shadows in the room began to shift, thickening around me like a living fog. The air pulsed with the weight of my knowledge, a knowledge they could no longer deny. "Do you remember the old stories, the ones we dismissed as myths?" I pressed on, my voice steady despite the chaos swirling inside. "They were warnings, warnings you chose to ignore." Their faces paled as I continued. "The price of our ignorance is paid in blood. Each bite of truth brings forth the specters of our denial." Just then, the house quaked with a visceral shudder, the walls creaking like ancient bones. My parents exchanged frantic glances, their laughter replaced by the dawning realization that I had become something far beyond their understanding. I poured the contents of the vial into a shallow dish, the liquid swirling like a tempest, and with it came the low, mournful wails, echoes of the lost filling the room. And then, From the back of my mind, the memories surged forth, faces from that care facility, the haunted gaze of the dead. As if summoned, shadows materialized around us, figures cloaked in the remnants of sorrow. They reached out, grasping at the air as though still longing for their own truth to be heard. My father stumbled back, nearly knocking over an expensive sculpture. My mother's eyes widened in horror, and I could see the flickers of doubt transform into sheer terror. "Stop this!" she cried, her voice trembling. But the shadows danced closer, and for the first time, they were reminded of the power they had belittled. Their ridicule had given birth to demons, and now those demons were at our doorstep. "Now you will understand," I whispered, the weight of vengeance coursing through me. "Now you will see the cost of your disbelief." Visceral, agonizing cries filled the air, and the spectral figures bore down on my parents, their mouths agape in silent screams, contorting with the horror of their own ignorance. It was a reckoning, the culmination of years of laughter and disdain, now returned tenfold. The house shook again violently, and in that moment I felt transcendent. As the shadows enveloped my family, I felt a bittersweet catharsis wash over me. I had survived what they could not even bear to acknowledge. And as they fell into the embrace of their own skepticism, I turned back to the darkened corner of the room, the whispers growing fainter, remnants of my past, severing the ties that had once bound us. Finally, I stepped out into the cool night air, each breath grounding me in the reality I had forged. My parents might never grasp the truths I had unearthed, but their final understanding was now a haunting reminder of the price of disbelief. I walked away, shadows dancing at my heels, ready to embrace the darkness that came with my vindication, the knowledge that survival was not just a gift, but a gavel of justice, echoing endlessly into the night.